The day military police placed cuffs on my wrists, my sister laughed. Not nervously, not in disbelief. She laughed like she had been waiting for this moment her whole life. It happened outside the main gate of the base, under a sky so bright it felt cruel. Cars slowed, guards turned their heads, people whispered from a distance. Public humiliation always attracts an audience. I stood frozen while two officers searched my bag. My sister, Vanessa, stood a few feet away in heels and sunglasses, one hand covering her smile badly. "I told everyone she wasn't as perfect as she acts," she said loudly. The officers ignored her. I tried to speak calmly. "There has to be a mistake." One of them answered, "Ma'am, classified documents were found linked to your access code." My stomach dropped. Classified documents? I was a logistics officer. Careful, organized, obsessed with procedure. I triple-checked everything. I locked screens, changed passwords, reported unusual behavior. This made no sense. Vanessa crossed her arms dramatically. "Maybe now Dad will stop comparing us." There it was. The real reason behind half the cruelty in our lives. Comparison. Growing up, I was the disciplined one. She was the charming one. I earned trust. She demanded attention. I worked quietly. She performed loudly. And every time someone praised me, Vanessa collected resentment like interest. When I joined the military, she mocked the haircut. When I got promoted, she said quotas helped. When I bought my first house alone, she asked who I was dating. Nothing could simply belong to me. Now, with cuffs closing around my wrists, she looked happier than I had seen her in years. My father arrived minutes later, breathless and angry. "What did you do?" he snapped. Not, "Are you okay?" Not, "What happened?" "What did you do?" I looked at him with tears burning behind my eyes. "I didn't do anything." Vanessa sighed loudly. "Dad, please, don't make this harder. Some people fool us for years." The officers led me toward the security vehicle. My neighbors were watching. My father said nothing. My sister smiled. And in that moment, betrayal hurt more than fear. But what I didn't know that day was that someone inside the base had already noticed something no one else had, and within minutes, every gate would close. They brought me to an interview room just inside the command building. Gray walls, metal table, no clock. Time moves strangely when your life is cracking. I replayed every login, every file request, every shift change. I knew procedure too well to panic outwardly, but inside I was unraveling. How could my credentials be used for unauthorized access? Then memory flickered. 3 nights earlier, Vanessa had visited unexpectedly. She said she wanted to reconnect. She hugged me at the door, rare for her, asked for water, wandered through the house while I answered a work call, complimented my office setup. My home office, where my secure laptop sat docked. My blood went cold. The door opened. Colonel Harris entered with 2 investigators. His expression was serious, but not hostile. "Captain Carter," he said, "we've paused processing." I frowned. "Why?" He placed a folder on the table. Because 10 minutes ago, the base entered full lockdown. Even through the walls, I could hear alarms in the distance. My heart pounded. "What happened?" He said, "We detected an external data transfer attempt using your credentials from outside this building." I stared at him. "But I'm here." "Exactly." He leaned forward. "Someone used your access identity while you were already in custody." My throat tightened. Vanessa. Colonel Harris watched my face carefully. "You know who this might be." I whispered. "My sister was in my office 3 nights ago." The room changed instantly. Investigators moved fast. Names were requested, addresses confirmed, devices flagged. I felt sick. Not because I was shocked, because deep down, I wasn't. Vanessa had always wanted shortcuts to things I earned slowly: friends, praise, credit, sympathy. This time she wanted something bigger, maybe money, maybe leverage, maybe just to watch me fall. Colonel Harris said quietly, "You understand the seriousness of this." I nodded. "I also understand family betrayal," he added, surprising me. Minutes later, monitors displayed gate camera feeds. Security teams moved, phones rang non-stop. The base was sealed, no one in or out. My name was being cleared, while my sister's lies were tightening around her. I should have felt victorious. Instead, I felt hollow, because enemies are easier to survive than blood. Then Colonel Harris placed a cup of coffee in front of me. "You served this base with honor," he said. "Let us return the favor." Those words steadied something broken inside me. For the first time that day, I believed truth might still matter. 2 hours later, they brought Vanessa through the same hallway. No heels now, no sunglasses, no smile. She looked furious first, then frightened when she saw me seated beside Colonel Harris. "Emma," she said sharply, "tell them this is ridiculous." I said nothing. Investigators placed printed records on the table: security footage from my office, login traces, messages to an unknown buyer, and most devastating of all, voice recordings from calls she made bragging that I'd be ruined by noon. Vanessa's face drained of color. My father arrived soon after, escorted in. He looked from me to her, confused. "She said Emma was hiding things," he murmured. Colonel Harris answered evenly. "She was correct. Your daughter was hiding things." He nodded toward Vanessa. My father sat down slowly, as if age had found him in a single hour. Vanessa turned desperate. "Dad, say something." He did, but not what she expected. I defended the wrong daughter. Silence filled the room. I didn't smile. Some victories are too sad for celebration. Vanessa cried, blamed stress, blamed jealousy, blamed childhood, blamed me. Truth makes some people accountable, others only louder. She was removed for formal processing. As she passed me, she hissed, "You always had to win." I finally answered, "No, I just kept surviving what you created." She looked away. My father couldn't meet my eyes. "I'm sorry," he whispered. For years, I wanted those words. When they finally came, they felt smaller than I imagined. "I needed trust," I said quietly, "not apologies after proof." He cried then, softly, privately, honestly. That was new. My name was officially cleared by evening. The cuffs were removed from my record before sunset. By morning, people who watched my arrest watched me walk back through the gate in uniform, shoulders straight, badge polished, head high. No announcement was needed. Truth has its own posture. I moved to another posting months later. Distance helped. My father calls now and listens more than he speaks. Vanessa and I do not talk. Some bridges burn from one spark, others collapse from years of wait. What did I learn? Never celebrate someone's downfall too early. Sometimes the person in handcuffs is innocent, and the one laughing is already trapped. And when family betrays you, remember this: their blood may connect you, but their choices define the distance.